When you take a homeopathic remedy, you are taking the electromagnetic energy that was associated with the original substance, and if it resonates with your body and mind, then you can see a huge reaction in the physical world.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the Grimerica show. We're going to be chatting with Becky Chambers a little bit later about holistic medicine and all that fun stuff. And we're also, no, we're not. But first, as always, Graham Catterday Dunlop.
Hey,
How's
buddy.
it going, buddy?
I'm good. How
I
you
actually
doing?
did want to clear the air that Catterday has absolutely nothing to do with me. So don't tweet, because I handle the Twitter. The Instagram automatically sends to the Twitter.
No, I do it on purpose. It doesn't automatically,
Well,
but I have to share it to Twitter.
No kidding.
What?
Well, obviously.
You said
doesn't just-
automatically.
Well, you've set it so it does it automatically.
No.
Oh,
I still have to choose. I have to go share it and choose Twitter.
don't share the Catterday one.
Why not?
Because I don't want to
You
be
get too much
associated with your
feedback?
Catterday. Now I've got people tweeting me pictures of their cats.
I love it. Then forward them on to me then.
No. I'm not fucking condoning this. I'm not encouraging.
So you just
America
want
has nothing to do with cats.
my Zeus pictures just go straight to Instagram without...
They shouldn't go
tweeting
anywhere.
them?
They shouldn't even be taken.
Do you know how much business I'm drumming up here?
How
Business.
many pictures of your cat do you have on your phone right now?
On my phone? I don't know. I don't count.
Can I see?
No. They're all over the place from like years ago.
Ask me how many pictures of my cat I have on my phone.
You don't like cats.
I like my cat.
Do you?
Nate's cool.
Nate's cool.
Grace is a bitch.
Yeah. True that. Yeah. Grace is the one cat I just gives me the heebie-jeebies.
And she's like
She's got that
she's a
crazy
total
look in her
predator,
eyes.
Ron. She's like fucking Shere Khan. Or
So
ever since she fucking took a crow out of the tree and killed it with like 12 other crows watching and cawing, she's had that creepy sort of vibe to her. Like for a while, Madison was scared of her.
yeah.
She was like sleeping with her, and she's like, I don't want Grace sleeping with me, because Madison watched the whole ordeal.
Oh, that's gotta be traumatic as a kid, eh? Probably.
Well, for a while, I don't think you knew who was going to win. It was a tussle.
Really?
The crow was as big as she was.
And the other crows didn't step in and help. They just let it.
It was so bad because I was at work. Lisa was just sending me videos and pictures, and
Of the scrap.
and the crows. And then she ended up paying some kids going by on their bikes because the crows wouldn't leave. Then it was hours later. The crows were still in the backyard, just like 13 crows, because the body was still there. So then she paid some kids $5 or $10 that were going by on their bike because it was summer holidays. Go and grab it, dispose of the body, and then the crows slowly disappeared.
Wow. So does she have any pics she can send me and I'll put them on the
I'll
Instagram?
see if I can track them down. Yeah. So anyway, from now on, here on forward, I'm going to assume any pictures sent in of your cat are you entering your cat for my fight, in which your cat will probably end up dead or at least maimed.
Is that you versus the 20 or 30 tabby cats or
the
whatever?
30 tabby cats, but I'll take on randoms. We'll get the first 30 people to tweet in pictures of their cats are in. You guys have to organize getting them to one place, and I'll get there. Wherever you can get these cats together, I'll show up. And
Completely small cage.
You know what my entrance music will be? Who let the dogs out?
So before I forget to talk about our guest here, Becky Chambers is on. We talk about homeopathy and whole body vibration. Lots of different stuff along that sort of vein, energy medicine, type stuff like that. It's a pretty interesting chat. I want to get myself a whole body vibe. plate.
A plate with
Yeah.
your clip on.
Yeah, my buddy Steven's got one, and I was talking to him about it.
What's the plate made of?
I don't know what the plate's made of. All different types
Brass?
of material, probably.
Oh.
So, anyways, yeah, it's good. So we got an exciting little intro here.
Do it?
I got a pretty big
Exciting.
weather modification segment.
Mm.
Yeah. And no.
An all-in believer in chemtrails.
Hey. The thing is you got to play the other one. People are asking for the other jingle, the
No.
Kate Bush jingle.
Okay. I seen one person ask for that to like the 7 people that asked for the all-in believer in chemtrails.
Bullshit.
It's a fan favorite.
No, it isn't.
If you want, I can send that to you for your ringtone.
Graham is an all-in believer in chemtrails.
I don't want to go there yet. I don't want to drive away the whole audience straight away.
Yeah, it's not about chemtrails. It's about weather modification.
Did you see James's picture? He was on a chemtrail plane.
Come on.
Did you see it?
No. In
This
Norway?
spring, on his way. He sent the picture of it coming off his
Oh,
wingtip.
that's fucking bullshit. That's just an air thing. Oh, this is what is annoying about the whole thing.
Is that we won't quit busting your balls about it? Okay, fine. Let's just get it over with.
No. Hang on. I just want to read you the. Oh, do you want to do it right now then?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it? It's this one, I think.
Death dumps, otherwise known as chemical trails, being dropped, sprayed throughout the United States, England, Scotland, Ireland, Northern Europe.
And I can't play the multiple boards at once. I wanted to fade in with some. Well,
anyways, so I've taken a step back from the weather modification program's policy and potential. That's the 1978 Senate report. I've got a bunch of operations here that I can read to you, and I want to read also some more patents. So this is just, it's fascinating to me. It's a total rabbit hole, but for people that don't think that weather modification has not been happening over the last 60, 70 years. So listen to this quick list of operations, Darren. Operation Shad, Project 112, Operation Dew, Operation Popeye, Operation LAC, Project Storm Fury, Project
you're just saying things.
I'm just giving you a list of them, and we'll go into them in more depth.
Okay.
But
All of them?
Well, if I can split it up into 2 episodes.
Popeye. Let's start with Popeye.
Okay.
Spinach, is that something to do with spinach?
And then Project Cumulus is AKA Operation Witch Doctor out of the UK.
Witch Doctor.
And then there's a big one, Project Cloverleaf, but I'm not going to cover that yet because it's huge and it's not really in Wikipedia. So all these other ones, they're in Wikipedia. So I'm not saying that, you should believe everything in Wikipedia, but the thought police haven't got to them yet. So something's, interesting about that, right? You want to start with Popeye?
Popeye. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
That's the one I don't have up, of course. Could you tell?
I don't know. Maybe I'm psychic.
This is a good one.
Okay.
So Operation Popeye in Wikipedia, and it stands for Project Controlled Weather Popeye Motor Pool Intermediary Compatriot. It was a highly classified weather modification program in Southeast Asia during 67 to 72. The cloud seeding operation during the Vietnam War ran from March 20th, 67 to July 5th, 1972, in an attempt to extend the monsoon season, specifically over areas of the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
Ho Chi Minh.
The operation was used to induce rain and extend the East Asian monsoon season in support of U.S. government efforts related to the war in Southeast Asia. The operation seeded clouds with both silver iodide and lead iodide, resulting in targeting areas seeing an extension of the monsoon period by an average of 30 to 45 days. As the continuous rainfall slowed the truck traffic down, it was considered relatively successful. However, resultant rain and subsequent flooding of the nearby Song Con River is sometimes blamed for the move of the POWs from the prison camp at Son-Tay and therefore the failure of Operation Ivory Coast. So unintended side effects of this Operation Popeye. So the former U.S. Secretary of Defense Robert S. McNamara was aware that there might be objections raised by the international scientific community, but said in a memo to the president that such objections had not in the past been a basis for prevention of military activities considered to be in the interest of the U.S. national security. So the chemical weather modification program was conducted from Thailand over Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam, and allegedly sponsored by Secretary of State Henry Kissinger and the CIA without the authorization of then Secretary of Defense Melvin Laird, who had categorically denied to Congress that a program for modification of the weather for use as a tactical weapon even existed. That's a good
I believe that.
Well, that's a good one.
But that's in war. Anything goes.
Yeah, except that they did ban that in, between Canada and the States in 1975, they banned weather modification. And I think the UN banned it as a weapon of war publicly.
Who gives it? Nobody gives a shit what the UN says, though.
True that.
Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What else you got?
Well, I got Operation Do.
No, not that one.
Not that one? Operation LAC.
No.
Storm Fury. Project Storm Fury. Oh,
That's the winner.
that's the winner. This is Project Storm Fury was an attempt to weaken tropical cyclones by flying aircraft into them and seeding with silver iodide. The project was run by the U.S. government from 62 to 83. That's almost 20 years. The hypothesis was that silver iodide would cause supercooled water in the storm to freeze, disrupting the inner structure of the hurricane. This led to the seeding of several Atlantic hurricanes. So we're talking back in 62 to 83. They were seeding several hurricanes. However, it was later shown that this hypothesis was incorrect. It was determined most hurricanes do not contain enough supercooled water for cloud seeding to be effective. Additionally, researchers found that unseeded hurricanes often undergo the same structural changes that were expected from seeded hurricanes. This finding called Storm Fury's success into question, as the changes reported now had a natural explanation. So it says here that the last experimental flight was flown in 1971 due to a lack of candidate storms and a changeover in NOAA's fleet. That's NOAA, National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, I think. More than a decade after the last modification experiment, Project Storm Fury was officially canceled.
Because it didn't work. That was a bad example.
For 20 years, it's not finished. Although a failure in its goal of reducing the destructiveness in hurricanes, Project Storm Fury was not without merit. The observational data and storm life cycle research generated by Storm Fury helped improve meteorologists' ability to forecast the movement and intensity of future hurricanes.
That's your big wait for it.
You don't think that they figured out while trying to, slow these hurricanes down? You don't think they learned about how to control them?
No.
Or speed them up?
No.
That's it. They just left it at that for 20 years. They just looked at slowing hurricanes down.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to modify it as a weapon of war?
Maybe they did. I don't see any place getting hurricaned out, though, other than the U.S.
Well, I mean, I don't know. That's getting... There's hurricanes all over the world.
Okay.
But I'm not saying that, that was anybody doing it on purpose.
Seems like you're saying.
I'm just saying.
Seems like you're saying exactly that. Okay, one more.
One more, that's it?
You
now
can
I gotta
pick the
track
next
which
one.
ones.
Because the last two, well, Popeye was okay, but Blaze Force or whatever the last one was you look defeated. Come on. Bring it up with
Well,
this
there's a
next
lot. I got like 4 here to choose from, so.
There you go with F. Everyone starts with F.
Well, this one's got 2 of them two of them in there. It's SHAD and 112 are combined. So why don't I do that?
Sure.
So SHAD, an acronym for Shipboard Hazard and Defense, was a part of a larger project called 112, which was conducted during the 60s. So Project SHAD encompassed tests designed to identify U.S. warships' vulnerabilities to attacks with chemical agents or biological warfare agents, and to develop procedures to respond to such attacks while maintaining a war-fighting capability. So it says here, so Project 1112 is a chemical and biological weapons. Well, I don't want to get into that yet because I'm going to talk about that one. So
you're losing me.
So the mission, I know you don't have a very long attention span. Just bear with me. This reminds me of work. If I'm not like 100% fucking
You have to be ready.
The Shipboard Hazard and Defense Project was a series of tests conducted by the U.S. Department of Defense during the 1960s to determine how well service members aboard military ships could detect and respond to chemical and biological attacks.
Don't point at me.
D. Dodson Morris of the Army Chemical Corps, who coordinated the ongoing investigation, says the SHAD tests were intended to show how vulnerable Navy ships were to chemical or biological warfare agents. The objective was to learn how chemical or biological warfare agents would disperse throughout a ship and to use that information to develop procedures to protect crew members and decontaminate ships. DoD investigators note that over 100 tests were planned, but the lack of test results may indicate that many tests never actually executed. 134 tests were planned initially, but reportedly only 46 were completed. So although many, this is too intense here. So the Public Law 107-314. Are you paying attention to me?
Yeah.
You're not.
I'm flat earthing.
You can't flat earth in the middle of a podcast. You can just wait till afterwards. I don't get it.
I'm engaged.
I'm going to when I do these segments, I'm going to grab your phone and put it over here.
Here.
Fuck, I can't believe it. You have your flat earth notifications on?
Well, I've been in the heat of the battle for like an hour now. Ever since we went on break.
Public Law 107-314 required the identification and release of not only Project 112 information to the United States Veterans Administration, but also that of any other projects or tests where a veteran might have been exposed to chemical or biological warfare, and directed the Secretary of Defense to work with veterans and veteran service organizations to identify other projects or tests conducted by the D&D. So, in 2000, they began the process of declassifying records about the project, and according to the Veteran Affairs, approximately 6,000 U.S. service members were believed involved in conducting the tests. Remember, this is from Wikipedia. In 2002, the Department of Defense began publishing a list.
By anybody.
Although many of the 5,500 veterans who took part were aware of the tests, some were involved without their knowledge. Certain issues surrounding test programs were not resolved by the passage of the law of the Department of Defense was accused of continuing to withhold documents of Cold War chemical and biological weapons tests that used unsuspecting veterans as human samplers. After reporting it to Congress, it had released all medically relevant information. So in a GAO May 2004 report, Chemical and Biological Defense, DoD needs to continue to collect and provide information on tests and potentially exposed personnel. Indicates that almost all participants who are identified from 112, 94% of them were from ship-based tests of Project SHAD that comprised only about 1/3 of the total number of tests conducted. So, medical, it doesn't talk about, I thought it talked about how they did these tests.
I need some popcorn.
So Jack Alderson, a retired Navy officer who commanded the Army tugboats, told CBS News that he believes the Pentagon used him and other service members to test weapons, and those tests, including agents, vaccines, and decontamination products have led to serious medical problems, including cancer. Secrecy agreements can now be ignored by veterans in order to pursue healthcare concerns within the Department of Veterans Affairs. The VA has offered screening programs. The Institute of the Institute of National Academies has commissioned studies of Project SHAD participants. The first long-term health effects of participation in SHAD was released in 2007 and found no clear evidence that specific long-term health effects are associated in participation with SHAD.
What's SHAD?
And then the second
What exactly
one,
is SHAD?
Shipboard Hazard and Defense, is part of this larger project, right? So it's basically...
What are they doing, though, that they would have got sick from?
Because they're doing tests and spraying chemicals over ships and seeing how it disseminates around the ship. So that leads me to Project 112. This is, I'll wrap it up after this. So Project 112 is a biological and chemical weapon experimentation project conducted by the U.S. Department of Defense from 62 to 73. The project started under JFK and was authorized by Robert McNamara as a total review of the U.S. military. The name of the project refers to the number in the 150 project review process authorized by McNamara. Funding, So funding and staff contributed every branch of the U.S. Armed Services and intelligence agencies, a euphemism for the Office of Technical Services of the CIA, Directorate of Science and Technology. Canada and the UK also participated in some of these activities. So 112 was primarily concerned with the use of aerosols to disseminate biological and chemical agents that could produce controlled temporary incapacitation, CTI. The test program would be conducted on a large scale at extracontinental test sites in the Central and South Pacific and Alaska in conjunction with Britain, Canada, and Australia. So there's at least 50 trials conducted, at least 18 tests involved simulants of biological agents, and at least 14 involved chemical agents, including sarin and VX, but also tear gas and other simulants. Test sites included Portadown, Ralston in Canada, and at least 13 U.S. warships. The shipborne trials, that was SHAD.
But this is just chemical warfare. This isn't weather modification. This is just them trying to kill people without fucking up infrastructure.
Yeah, but the point is that it's aerosol sprayed from a plane, right?
Well, that's what we're.
So they've been spraying all these other areas, right? Doing all these tests. That's the point. For people that don't think that things are getting sprayed from planes every once in a while. There's a lot of projects that are spraying shit from planes.
But not on a constant basis. Oh, on a constant basis?
Well, I mean, there's some speculation there, of course, right?
That's what makes the Earth look round.
That's right. It's creating the dome.
That's what holds the dome up. Are you done? Can I jingle us out?
Do you want me just to finish the biological weapons test part of it?
Yeah, okay.
So there was a large variety of goals for the proposed test. For example, selected protective devices in preventing penetration of a naval ship, the impact of meteorological conditions on weapon system performance over the open sea, the penetrability of jungle vegetation by biological agents, the penetration of an Arctic conversion by a biological aerosol cloud. So there you go. Like that's right, getting into that right there. The feasibility of an offshore release of Aedes aegypti mosquito as a vector for infectious diseases. So, okay, they're testing on mosquitoes carrying diseases in 68 to 73.
Zika, bitch.
The feasibility of a biological act against an island complex and the study of decay rates of biowarfare under various conditions. So they tested the following agents and simulants. Francisella tularinite. Oh, I can't even tell these.
Keep going.
Serratia marcensis.
Glacio.
Escalaria coli, Bacillus
You
globii,
sounded a little Spanish there for a second.
Stractolacado enterotoxin, type B, Pucina grammis, I mean, it's crazy. All these things. Agents and stimulants were used and dispensed as, okay, here we go. Agents and stimulants were usually dispensed as aerosols using spraying devices or bomblets.
That's where the pictures come from.
In May 1965, vulnerability tests in the U.S. using anthrax simulant Bacillus gobelii were performed in Washington, D.C. area by SOD covert agents. One test was conducted at the Greyhound bus terminal and the other at the north terminal of the National Airport. In these tests, the bacteria were released to spray from spray generators hidden specifically in built briefcases. SOD also conducted a series of tests in New York City subway between 7th and 10th of June 1966 by dropping light bulbs filled with this stuff. Oof. And later on, police and transit authorities were not informed of these tests. So I want to, I'll save the rest of them for the next time I do this. You want to hear some of the patents that were created?
We should save those too.
Yeah?
We don't want to get too excited.
Too deep. All right. Okay. Let's save those.
I got to sleep tonight.
All right, buddy.
What,
Profound
UFO quote of the week.
So we didn't even get a chance to wrap that last segment up. I kind of want to.
What did you want to summarize?
No, I just wanted your feedback on some stuff, but that's okay. We'll save it.
You don't want my feedback.
This is the UFO quotes.
You got my feedback.
Do you not think that it's affecting the climate at all this modification?
I don't think any of it's affecting the climate.
Why?
I think it's fucking...
Global cloud seeding doesn't affect the climate at all?
Well, maybe locally. Not fucking on the ground.
That's where you're measuring the temperatures? What if that's where you're measuring the temperatures?
I don't know why you're arguing with me about anything.
I'm not arguing. I'm just asking.
You got this vendetta against me. I'm not arguing with anything you're saying. You just have, I don't know. I think it's just, yeah.
Okay.
They were doing shit, but I'm not accusing anyone. I'm not accusing the slaves of fucking up the weather.
Right. No, I know. Okay.
I'm accusing the sun of fucking up the weather mostly.
Yeah. Okay. What was especially What was especially important was that at a distance of 180 kilometers apart, the records about the direction of movement of the strange aerial body in space, made independently by at least two different observers, were basically the same. To the present time, this strange phenomena has not been satisfactorily explained. Yet there were thousands of good observers who had seen it. And that's from Zhang Zhuzhen, astronomer at the Yunnan Observatory of Genju City, China. Zhang Zhu and others were nearby, watched a strange glowing spiral object moving steadily across the sky for about 5 minutes on the evening of July 26, 1977.
That when Dazed and Confused was set?
Oh, yeah?
I don't know. I think so. No, it was the last day of school. Must have been June.
What is that? What? You're confusing me.
That'll happen.
Yep.
It was pretty random. So what do you got? I thought you had a synchro.
Well, I mean, yeah, I got a couple. Got some good feedback from listeners and some emails we can.
You know what? We haven't got a review in a while.
Do you have any?
Should we stop? No.
We should ask for reviews, actually.
Yeah, we should. Seems like it always sounds like we're begging for reviews, but honestly, if we don't ask you guys, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah. And it makes a difference. I think when guests go in and they look, they can see some good reviews and stuff. I think they do that probably. Potential guests and people that, stumble across the show. I think it helps the show.
We got a lot of 1-star reviews lately, so we got to offset that.
Yeah.
Some 5 stars, motherfuckers.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the flat earthers are 1-starring us.
Well, you should learn not to
fuck with
battle
them.
with all these people.
Block. Fuck, I'm becoming the Dvorak of Grimerica.
Do you want a trippy synchro then? I got a trippy synchro here.
Okay.
I'm a rambling gram with synchronicity.
I was hoping for the trip report one.
All
Oh, that's
over
okay.
the web. And Aaron is skeptical about everyone and don't believe it yet.
Grimerican Trip Report.
Hey guys, thought I'd share a real quick psychedelic related synchronicity with you. Again, thanks for keeping me anonymous. So that's a warning, Darren, if I say the name that you have
Don't
to
say the
edit
fucking
this.
name because I don't want to edit it.
Recently, I took about a 16th of shrooms.
A 16th?
Yeah.
Of what? An ounce?
No, probably
Half an
yeah,
eighth.
it must be half an eighth. Yeah, yeah, that'd be about right. That's still a pretty good dose,
Or a
isn't it?
16th of a gram? Yeah, half an eighth is a good.
I wasn't
If they're
looking.
good mushrooms.
Oh, and then listen to this. He wasn't looking to get real crazy, just lightly in between the veils. I think that was enough
Peer
to.
through the curtain. Yeah, 2 grams will fucking take you right through.
So I eat them, smoke a cigarette, and take a shower. By the time I'm done, I can feel the tingling starting. The
It must have been
tinglies.
dried.
The
I
tinglies.
think there's a big difference.
Probably.
You eat
You lose-
way more wet ones than you
Oh,
do dry ones. I
Really?
think.
Thought it
Maybe
was the other
vice
way.
versa. I don't know. For some reason, I think you can eat quite a bit.
So he can start feeling the tinglies. I go down to the couch to sit with my wife and just exist. And it turns out she's watching that show, Sons of Anarchy. Now, I've not ever really watched the show myself before. Just caught a minute or two of one day before, since she just started binging on it on Hulu. As I sit down, I see on the screen that the biker gang goes to an Indian reservation, apparently to try and secure illegal firearm and ammunitions that they make. The biker's boss asks the Native American he's dealing with, he has anything else for sale? Nah. Oh, that's the Native American. Yeah, mushrooms. The biker, psychedelics? Yeah. He hands a bag of them to the biker, who then takes some and makes his peons eat them to test their potency. The 2 peons start tripping hard. I'm sitting on the couch with my mouth agape. Are you fucking kidding me? What are the odds that I join in on this right when this shit happens? And why mushrooms of all drugs should they be selling? My wife looks at me and says, why do the people in my shows always do the same drugs as you? Other than that, I can't recommend watching Sons of Anarchy while tripping. It seems to have a great story writing, but there's too much gloom and death and shit. It's a real bummer for a trip set and setting. Thanks again and congrats on 3 years. Keep this shit coming.
I've seen that episode.
Have you really?
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
I'll give him an
The show.
8.5.
Oh, wow. That's pretty generous there, buddy.
Yeah, well, mushrooms are involved.
Oh, I got another cute email here. I'll just read. It's a feedback type thing. I don't know if Ash would like me saying
Did you
his
say his
email is
name?
cute. No, that's okay.
Oh.
This guy, I think. He's part of the UK posse anyways. Don't know how often you get these, but you've got to still listen an email. Yeah. Still listen to the podcast. Did a Google search for a podcast like Grimerica. No avail. These guys from the UK always have a great sense of humor. They're all pretty boring or sold out to corporate sponsorship. For that reason, following this email, I shall make a donation. Just to note, I'm still on a small-time subscriber. Just listen to the last podcast, the gambling guy. Pretty shit, to be honest.
The gambling guy. Oh, that was a few weeks. Oh, I got some feedback on
Yeah, UK posse wasn't too happy
it. UK
with that
posse just fucking tore him apart.
one. He says,
I thought it was fun.
he says, pretty shit, to be honest, but 10 out of 10 for range of topics.
No, they don't say shit. They say shite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there an E on there?
No, there wasn't. No, I would have pronounced it like that.
He translated it for us.
I get that you can't please everyone. Just thought I'd drop an email as I had 5 minutes to spare. I think I mainly tune into you guys as you've covered a wide range of subjects. I did enjoy the Joseph Farrell interview. I think the main problem with a lot of guests is that they touch on subjects that mainstream don't, but then kind of apply self-censorship. Just my 5 cents. I don't have a synchronicity, but I've made up a real good one. You think that's what the other listeners do? Get bored while listening and make them up?
I don't know.
I think Darren has the attitude toward the subjects you cover that I act like with company, whereas I share your lines of thinking. Anyways, keep up the good work, you guys. This email is like one really long, stretched out one. I'm sure these sort of emails you get from time to time. A pointless one that just sings your praises. Anyways, thanks, Ash. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, sir.
And thanks for donating, because that's really, really helped the show. We've had a couple expenses here, not only the computer, but we're looking at, you're always trying to improve things, and you got to buy a gadget for this much and a new cord for this. And we tried doing video. We tried recording video today, so we had to connect some new things.
Messing around with apps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're trying to get an app started. It's a bunch of stuff.
It just seems to be a rabbit hole. So the app is not as close as we thought. That's for sure.
Yeah, but it's close. It's pretty close, though.
Well, yeah. We've got a timeline now because I figured we could just pop in that. When I seen the Libsyn thing, I thought it was just going to be like bam, bam.
It's going to be pretty much a generic. Then we had to get a
developer number, so we had to do this, and then after we got. So we can't even get the developer number unless we get a DUNS number now, and that can take up to a month. And then it could take up to a month to get the developer info, and then it's 4 to 6 weeks after that. But maybe it'll all happen faster.
And it's just a generic app. It's nothing special, but it's just something that'll help us.
It'll be something, yeah.
It'll help us market the show, I believe. Apparently, that's one of the top
for people.
things.
I mean, for people that only listen to the show, which is weird to me, but I know there's a few of them out there. I mean, it'll probably be perfect.
Yeah.
Then they don't have to fuck around with the podcatcher. And it'll also give us a chance to start giving out the Android app for free, I believe.
Yeah. And it's also good for search capabilities. I think if people are looking for that, that app will come up as opposed to the podcast itself may not come up when people are searching topics that we talk about.
That's right. Yeah. And then you can just tell people to download the Grimerica app. You don't have to tell them, get the podcast or find it.
Right. So it's for non-podcast savvy listeners, right?
Yeah. Just download the Grimerica app and your app will do the rest.
Red Pill Junkie could actually listen to it then properly.
Well, there's an Android app if he pays $5. I told him I'd send him the $5.
Yeah.
Maybe that's who bought it.
The one app, the one.
But the only reason I charge money for it is because at the time it was either we had to pay so much a month to do it for free. We have to pay because the developer takes a cut. That's their catch.
But we're not. Yeah, but we're not going to.
This time we're just going to say fuck it because at that time we didn't have any budget. We had zero budget. Last time we looked into it, we had no subscribers, no anything.
Yeah. So this is all coming back to you guys being able to help us out. It's been great. We can actually do this now because there is a bunch of monthly expenses, right? So it really helps. You guys are pitching in.
Yeah.
And we want to keep it no ads, no paywalls. Like everything's free.
Exactly. But at the same time, we want to keep growing. We want to fucking, we'd like to look into expanding the website in some capacity. Maybe
I need some work too. See, it's never ending.
It's never ending. Yeah. The app, like they could use some more, the app will get the generic one out for now, but I mean, we've kind of got a vision for what we'd like an app maybe down the road. So yeah, it'll never end. But anyway,
and also,
we appreciate all the subscribers we do have. We got a few more lately.
Yeah. And you don't have to pay to support us either. Like, we have people submitting art to NAP, right? Every week we have like weekly art.
Yeah. And if you can't afford to do a monthly subscription, even though some of them are $1 a month, that works out to about 25 cents a show.
Yeah.
That's 12 cents each.
Yeah. And I'll throw a lot of art on Instagram as well, which I also want to mention.
Oh yeah, we're taking art for let me give out the URL then. Grimerica.ca/support. If you can't do a monthly, maybe once in a while, just do a one-time donation. Big thanks to those who do. And of course, help out when you can, and when you can't, the people who can will help out.
We'll make up for it.
Exactly. We'll all just keep on rolling.
Did you want to talk more about the art then?
Yeah, we might as well get into the art in the back catalog because I mean then.
Oh right, okay.
It's a kind of a competition going. They're doing a voting system over on Instagram, Napoleon, for episode art going forward. So there'll always be kind of a voting system on the next episode. But we've got about 100 and some episodes in the back catalog that are just pictures I stole off at Google Images.
or pictures of people's books and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like just
exactly.
generic pictures for that specific episode art. But we could. It's really cool to have original art.
Yeah, because
the
especially
episode.
once the app comes out, because the app is a swipe back and forth from episode art to episode art.
Oh, that's cool.
Whereas, other shows, it's just their logo over and over and
Yeah.
over and over.
Yeah.
So we want to update all that.
And also, I'm putting
You
guest.
know what? There's probably the first 50 or 60 episodes don't even have. It might even be the first 100 episodes just have generic art. So I'll have to, that'll be good. So yeah, we need that worse than I thought,
Yeah.
Because I always did a little picture for the website.
Yeah. Oh,
But we
right.
never actually started incorporating them into the podcast background, which works out because I would have had to reformat it all, but now Libsyn gives you the option, so I can actually pretty easily just plug it in. So we'll
Okay,
have a
good.
custom art for everything. So
Yeah.
if you want to just start plugging away at the back catalog instead of facing rejection,
Yeah, exactly.
that's fine too.
Yeah. So the other thing is about Instagram is people have been asking about who's coming up. So as soon as we get a guest booked, well, not as soon as, but at some point, I'll put a little picture of them or a blurb on Instagram, and it'll be like hashtag guests on deck, or that's really the one I've been using. So if people search guests on deck, they should be able to see what's coming up. So you can send in questions and stuff like that. You'll know who's coming. I mean, you won't know exactly when we're releasing because we don't even know that. But at least you'll know that if it hasn't released yet, we're either going to have them on or just had them on.
That's right.
All right. So what else you got?
I don't think I have much else. Oh, running pretty long. I don't think nothing that can't wait.
All right.
Tell your friends about the show. Enjoy the chat with Becky Chambers. We got Corey Powell next week. That was a real fun one.
I think there's somebody before him, actually.
Right. The guy from back east. That's a fun one
Yeah,
too.
Bonaparte. Yeah, so we got a couple
Boner
good
Party.
ones. Boner Party. We got a couple good ones coming out, and lots of good recordings coming up as well. It's gonna be, we're busy.
We're busy. Good problem to have, I suppose.
Yeah.
Enjoy the chat with Becky, guys.
All right, tonight we have Becky Chambers with us. We're getting back into the topic of healing. Becky's been studying natural health approaches for over 30 years. She's got a BS in biology and an MS of education. She's written a couple books. One that I have right in front of me here, Homeopathy plus whole body vibration, combining the two energy medicines ignites healing. And her first book was Whole Body Vibrations, The Future of Good Health. She's a teacher and a speaker. I think it's her website that I'm looking at right now, bcvibranthealth.com. And it's a pretty fascinating book, and we haven't really talked about these two topics at all. So it's good to have you here, Becky. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and I'm interested always in people's healing journeys as well. We've talked about it on the show, and it seems like there's so many chronic problems with people right now, and there's people that I know personally, and it resonates with your story where you had a hard time with, and not to be too negative about the Western medical system, but it's hard to get diagnosed and get proper treatment. So you've been through quite a journey yourself, right?
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah, and honestly, I mean, beyond the diagnosing, it's it wasn't that hard to for people to say, yeah, you're depressed. That was my first problem for about 30 years.
Right.
But what they had to offer was not helpful. It was like not helping me much.
Yeah.
So natural health is really effective and safer for a lot of chronic health problems. It's the way to go, in my opinion, for most of the time. I'm not 100% against Western medicine. It has its place. It can be really useful, but...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know people too that have had these battles over years and years and years, decades. Like my girlfriend has a hard time with figuring out what's wrong with her, and some of the stuff that she's been diagnosed yet, not all the doctors really agree. And again, there's not really much of a solution there except for some sort of medication. And I've been thinking about taking her to a naturopath, and I've been thinking about homeopathy as well. And I've heard one of my all-time favorite podcasts was a friend of ours who does a podcast called Skeptical, and they had a naturopathic doctor on there, and it was amazing, his podcast, and how he talked about the evidence from your clients in homeopathic with homeopathic remedies and the sort of the difference between that and the medical system. So I think what we should do, because I didn't really know, I mean, I knew a little bit about homeopathy, but I think we should get into like a little bit of the background on what that really is.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know what homeopathy is. And that's because it's not been so popular for the last 100 years or so. But before that, it was very popular in this country, as well as now it's very popular in other parts of the world. But at any rate, it is homeopathy is basically energy medicine, which means it is more similar to acupuncture in a lot of ways than it is to herbal medicines and natural nutritional products, which a lot of people confuse homeopathy with herbs and nutritional products. It's very different. It's energy it is created often from natural substances such as herbs and minerals and things like that. But the process of making the remedy is a process of extracting the energy, the electromagnetic energy wavelengths that are associated with that original substance, and sort of propagating them and increasing their strength into water or little sugar pellets, and then giving the person the sugar pellets and water that have the energy in it. It's sort of like a CD that is a blank CD versus a CD that has music on it. The CD with music is holding electromagnetic energy that communicates information. And when you take a homeopathic remedy, you are taking the electromagnetic energy that was associated with the original substance. And if it resonates with your body and mind, then you can see a huge reaction in the physical world. Kind of like when a singer hits a note and a glass shatters. That's due to electromagnetic energy resonance. Yeah. And that's what you're looking for with homeopathy. You're looking for resonating energies that can create big effects in the physical world.
But it's also started from a trace amount or something as well, right? So it's not just like like I don't want people to lose the idea that there was something physical there to begin with that seems to be.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, it starts with a product. Yeah, and that original substance is actually diluted in a complex process where it's diluted and shaken and diluted and shaken, which is a process that transfers the energy imprint into the water that it's being diluted into. Yeah. So, and that's why the original substance, the characteristics of the original substance can actually be very relevant to what sort of person needs that remedy. For example, sulfur. There's a homeopathic remedy called sulfur, and sulfur has been famous forever as being a very fiery substance, like the, sulfur burns, and it's typically the person who needs it is a very fiery person, a very passionate person. So like the fires of creativity, and it's a very fascinating thing that works on an energy level,
So, and did these dilutions get more powerful the more diluted they go? When I was reading your book, you were talking about the, what do you call it now? When you actually, the high potency ones or whatever,
Right.
Is that how it works?
Yeah. It's kind of confusing for people who are used to Western thought, but the way it works is because at each step of the dilution, they're created through multiple dilutions and shaking. And each time it's diluted and shaken, it's the shaking part is where the energy transfers. So every time it's diluted, it's shaken also. Mm-hmm. And that's why the shaking multiplies, and that increases the potency or the strength of the remedy. What's happening is sort of there's a process of fractals being created, which is ever increasing numbers of identical molecules, and they carry the energy of the original substance. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of cutting edge research going on at the moment. Actually, the guy who discovered the AIDS virus, Dr. Luke, I'm forgetting his name right now.
I just saw something about this.
Yeah. He has done some research that, here it is. I'm going to give you the exact quote that because it's really great. Here it is. Dr. Luc Montagnier.
Right.
He's a 2008 Nobel Prize winner for his discovery of the AIDS virus, and he's been researching homeopathic dilutions for some number of years now, and he was quoted in a 2010 interview with Science magazine saying, "High dilutions of something are not nothing. They are water structures which mimic the original molecules." So, very exciting research going on that's supporting the idea that energy has been transmitted to the diluting water when you're making homeopathic remedies.
Yeah, that's great. And there's also research, into resonance and all that as well. Like people are just opening up their minds more to all this like sound frequency and resonance and energy, like guys like Nassim Harriman and it's fascinating. And like that Marisudo Emoto who talked about the water and all that. So
the water.
Is that the dude really from What the Bleep Do?
Yeah, that thing. Yeah. So it's interesting times. And then so let's just continue down that path a little bit. So you have different remedies for different ailments or personality challenges at the time that you actually would figure out for your clients.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And myself.
Right. Yeah.
I had a lot of practice on myself.
But can we give us a couple examples of how you would, I don't know if diagnosis is the right word, but figure out what remedy to give me, like if I went in to see you for something?
Well, we would talk, and your physical symptoms, complaints are important. They, but in a way, they're almost like signposts for me to help me figure out because when your energy is out of balance, there's a disruption in your energy. It expresses itself as physical symptoms. Your body is trying to deal with the energy and ends up showing what's going on through physical symptoms. So I look at that, and then, however, it's a fascinating thing. You really learn in homeopathy how important our thoughts are, because there are many remedies. Say you had arthritis. I can't tell you how many remedies that would be helpful for arthritis under a particular situation. There's probably, I don't know, 50 to 100 easily that could help a person with arthritis. And what would be important is the mental state that is typical of a particular homeopathic remedy would have to match your mental state, because it's really our thoughts and our emotions that are creating our energy. That is the critical part that has to match. And then the physical symptoms would be in line also, would need to be in line also. You'd see some of the characteristic physical symptoms. So for example, like a phosphorus person is bright and bubbly, whereas the sulfur person is so fiery and passionate and creative. And I can't remember offhand if both of those there's books that I use to help me.
Okay.
Texts that, I can use. But it's entirely possible that both of them have arthritis as possible physical symptoms.
Right. Oh, I see what you mean. So those different states could manifest in the same. Yeah.
Because I'm really looking for what's really resonating with your energy, which is created and generated in large part by what's in your mind, the thoughts and feelings in your mind.
So does Wi-Fi and everything like that mess that up too?
Yeah, EMFs, I guess they're called. Like, improper electromagnetic frequencies are one of the things that are disrupting our energy and make it difficult for us to be healthy and have a good, strong, high frequency energies.
Do you have an antidote? I was going to say. Do you have a remedy for too much modern electromagnetic improper frequencies?
Well, one of the things that it's thought that these EMFs are doing is they make it hard for our body for our energy to hold on to a healthy state. So sometimes I give I give a particular homeopathic remedy more often and more intensely than some earlier homeopaths have done, because we find that you need to kind of just really give that information to the body several times, more intensely to help it really shift.
It's like there's more interference or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But what's interesting is there's quite a lot. There's lots of remedies that are for people who are really sensitive and stressed and overreactive. There's a remedy for almost everything. It's kind of amazing, but what's really amazing is when you see it actually work. That's what's so exciting, because then you suddenly realize that, there's so much more to the world than I can see with my eyes. Exactly. This is proof. I give this person, or maybe it's a dog, so it can't be placebo. I've given my dog homeopathic remedies for bladder infections that had physical symptoms that you couldn't miss. She had to go outside every 5 minutes, and then I gave her a remedy and it was over. Whereas in the past, that exact same problem, I would have to take her to the vet. They would give her antibiotics. The antibiotics would give her diarrhea. The diarrhea would give her another bladder infection. Yeah. I was doing that, cycling through that for 6 months with one of my dogs, and then I gave her a homeopathic remedy, and the whole thing was over in 5 minutes. It was just incredible.
I wonder if dogs can placebo.
I don't think so.
I wonder if they could pick up.
And babies, and it's not very placebo-oriented people. They don't know what you're doing. I can't see how it could be placebo.
So what about is it kind of like peeling away an onion though? Once you get people started on this healing journey, depending on the depth of their issues, I guess, can it be quite a journey of peeling back and healing
I think you're referring
each
to
layer?
me.
Yeah. Well, you might
I
as
think
well.
you've read my book.
Yeah, I have, and you're probably the most extreme example. So let's talk about your journey a little bit. I mean, it's obviously, for the most important one to you, really, right?
Oh, it's been an amazing journey. That is for sure. I would never have guessed that I could be as, I could reach as high heights as I'm managing to do. I mean, write books. That was inconceivable for me when I was growing up, all the way through college. I chose my major in college. It was biology, right?
Yeah.
BS in science, because you didn't have to write papers. I couldn't write to save my life. I mean, I liked the human body. I liked biology, but also you didn't have to write papers. And then I started vibrating and I was doing homeopathy and I was becoming just enormously more creative and productive and functional and able to focus and concentrate and produce and be happy and joyful and satisfied and connect with people. These are things that I had 30 years of major depression growing up from when I was very young. And that is a soul killer. It's a life killer. It's horrible. And then your body follows because, again, like I said, your brain is so involved. Your thoughts and feelings are what's creating your energy. So next thing you know, and your body follows that. Next thing you know, I'm allergic to everything on the planet. I have joint problems from head to toe. My nervous system's all messed up. My lungs, my heart, my brain, my skin. I'm having trouble everywhere. So it's pretty much a miracle that I have now actually healed in virtually every problem I had, and the list is long. I'm happy. I'm fulfilling. I have an incredibly fulfilling work. I love my work, and I'm really passionate about trying to help other people with this. A sense of wonder and joy and peace. It's really, really fantastic.
What did you use for your allergies? I developed some allergies to pollen over the last few years that are pretty annoying.
Again, there's probably 100 remedies that could help with pollen.
Which one's
with
best?
With allergies. And I would want to talk to you and get a sense of who you are. Then I would have a better idea of which one. Then I would know that. Plus, they'll be like, it's really funny because it's strange, quirky, little odd symptoms that can really key us into which remedy is the right one. Of all the 100 remedies that are good for allergies, there are some that are just classic remedies for allergies. For example, onion, called allium, but it's basically the onion family. And onions are famous, right? You cut an onion, your eyes start suddenly watering. In homeopathy, the word homo is same and apathy is disease. So you're looking for a substance that could create the same disease if it was taken in its original form, right? If you're cutting an onion, your eyes start watering like mad. Now, if you have a particular type of reaction to pollen where your eyes are watering and you're sneezing a lot and your nose is running, possibly allium is the remedy for you. And you could go out to the store and get yourself some allium 30C and give it a shot twice a day.
There you go, Darren. Are you writing this down?
Yeah.
But again, I can't promise because there's a lot of remedies that are good for allergies. And that particular one doesn't actually have a strong mental state associated with it. So
perfect.
It's mostly known for those watery eyes, red stinging eyes and nose and so on.
I get itchy too. And sneeze a lot.
And sneeze.
Yeah, maybe you should try this, man. Really?
Maybe.
Well, I think our actually employee benefits at work cover $500 a year for a naturopath. So that's another question I had. So if we were going to do this locally, would we see a naturopath?
If you want homeopathy, then you're better off looking for a homeopath.
A homeopath. Do a lot of natural? Because when I was looking for it in Calgary, it seemed like everybody that was doing it was a naturopath. Or
okay, well, yes, naturopath means natural health.
Yeah.
And they cover a lot of different things. I guess maybe I already said that. So they may not be as highly trained in homeopathy, especially in sort of what's called classical homeopathy, which is the more powerful type where you're dealing with the emotional states.
Okay.
So personally, I'd recommend finding a professional homeopath. And there are websites and resources where you can find listings of trained professional homeopaths all over North America. They're listed, those website resources are listed in my book, at the back of the book.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that some of these naturopathic doctors that I found were also professional homeopaths. I think that was part of it. That's part of that. There's a lot of multidisciplinary kind of training.
Crossover.
I find over here, especially with some of these other healings. Like I find a lot of the massage therapy people are doing Reiki now, and there's all kinds of this crossover of energy healing and physical therapy, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So
natural health is booming.
Yeah.
Especially energy medicine is starting to take off.
Which one?
Well, I'm eagerly awaiting a boom in energy medicine.
Oh yeah. So how much of your like when Darren comes to see you and he's got all these allergies and all that, how much of your solution would be intuitive, or would it be like looking it up in the book kind of thing? Like, is it a mix of both, or is
it is a mix of both. I have a lot of knowledge just from experience and study. I do use my resources. The textbooks I use are like 2,000 pages long, but they're like, I impressed the heck out of somebody who was looking at it. She's like, it's in Greek or something. It is, when I step back and look at it, it would be completely indecipherable to anybody who hadn't been studying this. And I use a lot of intuition. The more you clear your energy, and homeopathy and vibration are incredibly effective ways to clear your energy. The most powerful way I've found to do that, the easier it is for you to connect to a higher source, because you're clearing away like the dust and the clouds that are interfering, the energy disturbances that are making it hard for you to connect and feel another energy, a higher source, and feel other people's energy. Because see, for example, when you're negative energy, it's very draining and it makes you end up focusing on your own problems. As you clear that away, you're much more able to actually relate to the person that you're dealing with and feel what's going on with them and focus on them. So I think that's a part of it. I think that's a big part of it. I'm able at this point to focus enough on the other person, because I don't need to focus on me quite so much. It's not so urgent problem over here anymore. And I've been through most of these energies myself, energy states. So I recognize that energy state in another person. So.
Is there a percentage? Like, do you like to talk about the success as a percentage sort of thing for people that you see, or in general in the industry as a whole?
Well, I couldn't speak to the industry as a whole, although I can say that there is great success reported in research. So. There's a lot of research, thousands and thousands of studies all over the world, and governments are funding clinics and hospitals. Most of in India and Switzerland, homeopathy is as big as Western medicine. In India, I think it might be bigger because they have something like 3,000 clinics, homeopathic clinics. It's very effective at healing many, many problems.
Yeah,
so,
you mentioned Europe. Was it Germany or France had there's 75% or something people being prescribed, or it's something about claims and insurance, or people being prescribed, or no, doctors
doctors are using homeopathy in Europe.
Huge percentage.
A huge percentage. And I think it's very related to why other countries, people are healthier for less money. The healthcare systems use much less money and people are healthier.
Yeah.
Because it's very inexpensive and you don't end up like sicker than when you started, which is the problem with Western medicine drugs. They're toxic.
Yeah.
Well,
You end
it's
up,
like they've been
you band-aid a
hijacked.
symptom and you make something else get worse, and next thing you know, you need more drugs, but you're actually getting sicker.
Yeah.
So natural health is
They've
the way
been
to go.
hijacked, in the last 80 years
By
or
big
whatever
pharma,
by big
or-
pharma. It's
Yeah.
just kind of.
It's a
funny.
problem.
I was
It's
reading
really
a story
big problem.
today about a guy down in Florida or something who called the cops because he shot his wife. They were like 90 or something because she was in so much pain and he just couldn't afford the medication anymore. He couldn't buy the medicine. So after like a week of her just being in pain, he just shot her, called the cops.
Like, did she ask him to, like, or was it like
I don't
putting
think she
her
was
out of her
coherent
misery, or-
enough.
Oh, really? Wow.
Now he's in jail,
yeah.
getting charged with first-degree murder.
Wow.
That's a sad story.
Yeah. What else was I going to ask you about homeopathy?
I'm wondering how much of a wall is Big Pharma stopping it from coming this far west?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to ask.
Like, I mean,
Well,
look at all the you don't have to
people-
go far to see a lot of horror stories about homeopathy debunked, or you know what I mean.
Oh,
If you
like-
Google homeopathy, probably the first page is going to be anti.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much you feel that the current establishment has to do with that.
Well, I think that we are at the beginning of a new age because I have seen in my lifetime, people becoming much, much more open to all forms of natural health. I was very sick with a ton of problems and getting into natural health and allergies. I was allergic to everything on the planet a good 35 years ago now. And back then, people thought I was crazy just because I had allergies. Now, everybody knows what acupuncture is, and lots of people do it, and acupuncture is energy medicine. Reiki is becoming very popular. Yoga is very popular. These days, I can talk about this stuff to so many more people than I used to be able to. Even here on the East Coast, where we're slower than the West Coast.
Yeah.
Down here in America, to really grab onto new things. But even here on the East Coast, it's becoming much more popular. I think it's a real time of change. The public is really they are becoming more aware that drugs are a downhill spiral in many cases, and that they need alternatives, and natural health is offering it to them. And they're excited about energy and types of things. Meditation, for example, becoming very popular. And it is accepted that your brain can can help your body, and focusing and relaxing and connecting. All of that is really good for your whole system. So there's a lot of growth and movement.
Yeah, it's a positive time. It astounds me though that other countries are so much further ahead than we are in North America. And it seems like Canada kind of gets stuck under your wing of all this. Like we're kind of right in the middle of Europe and the States. Like we're kind of not there, but we're a little more open probably to it. Like
I wonder if we're pro-Brexit.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, it's only got to be a matter of time before the U.S. kind of like the skepticism that's not really tied into the big pharma, but it doesn't help, right? I mean, there's a group of hardcore materialists that just don't accept any of this stuff.
Sometimes I wonder sometimes I worry that we're kind of stuck in a zone that seems like it's catching on, but I don't know, like maybe over in the fluoride forces, it's not.
No, it is because just for Reiki, like from my personal experience in Calgary, like you mentioned Reiki and yoga, like there's more. Reiki's growing really fast here. There's all kinds of groups teaching Reiki all the time. So I mean, to me, that's evidence that it's growing, and I'm sure you see it in your field.
I know it's growing. I also, you're right. There are people who are just doggedly, determinedly holding on to the old ways and ideas. But that always happens with new things. It takes a while. And I think more and more people are having, there's a lot of incentive to change because Western medicine is not working in many cases.
Yeah.
And then you can get people talk. They have spectacular results using natural health sometimes. And homeopathy can give you spectacular results when it's done properly. So there's also, this is a time when the science and our ability to study what is going on has increased. So when, we have a Nobel Prize winning scientist studying it and coming down strongly on the side of there is science behind this.
Yeah.
And explaining how energy waves interact and resonate. This wasn't true back when homeopathy kind of got crushed by big pharma and the Western medicine.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't understand the science behind it. So it was much easier to crush it and say, this is quackery, it's like witchcraft, it doesn't exist, it's all placebo. Well, no, there's, a lot of science that we understand now. We understand electromagnetic energy, we understand quantum science. So, and electromagnetic energy waves. It's a different scene now, it's a different world at this point, I think.
What do you think about, does homeopathy leave room for some sort of like naturopathy? We're talking about these as two different disciplines. What do you think about, isn't the real answer some sort of hybridization of all of it? Because, I mean, Western medicine obviously has its downfalls, but, I mean, there's still a lot of things that we can do today that you just weren't going to do 1,000 years ago, period. And, I mean, I don't want to really get into examples, but I'm sure you would agree that there's some things today that we can do, whether it be through surgery or operation or other methods that are a positive. Like I do sometimes get a little defensive of Western medicine because a lot of people, especially people that we talk to, are really quick to bash it. But at the same time, I mean, if I break my arm or break my femur or fall off a ladder or something like that, I'm pretty happy that ambulance is going to come and take me and, fix my leg. And
especially emergency medicine. Western medicine is really unbeatable. And just last year, they saved both my mother and my dog from in emergency situations where they would have basically died in another day without Western medicine, incredible ability to dive in there and just take control of your system, kill off my mother had pneumonia and was in a very bad state, and my dog ended up with bacterial meningitis, both of which can kill you in 24 hours. So I have a great deal of respect for Western medicine and doctors. I have a great deal of respect for the professional people in these fields. They work really hard, they're dedicated, they very well intentioned and smart and dedicated. The problem is the money that has been,
it's always the
money involved in pharmaceutical Western medical system is so huge. It corrupts the system.
And insurance.
Only, the drug companies end up funding and deciding what gets researched, and the medical schools only teach what has been researched.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Doctors only know about drugs because big, pharmaceutical company doesn't want to research natural health. They're not going to make any money off of it.
Oh yeah. Plus these reps are showing up at the office and
right. It's money. Money corrupts, and there is they make as much money as oil companies. The pharmaceutical medical industry is as big and powerful as oil industry. And that's a lot of money. So on the other hand, like I said, we've got now at this point, people are very interested, and people are a huge force. When the masses of people are saying, I don't want more drugs. These drugs are not taking me in the right direction. I want to explore other things. And there is science behind it. That's a time of change.
I wonder if Prince OD'd on Oxysel. help push back against pharmaceuticals at all.
Did they say that's what it was with him?
I'm pretty sure they pretty well said it. They found a whack of them.
Yeah.
That's what is it? I want to say I'll check it up here now, but I want to say it's 10-1 or something like that for prescription drugs to everything illegal combined.
Overdosing, you mean?
Yeah.
No, it's not. I don't think it's quite that high, but it's higher. It's higher in total, but I don't think it's 10 times higher. Yeah. So then we were talking about different modalities and all that. So your latest book is about whole body vibration as well, which is interesting. So that's apparently, and you seem to have found that works really well with homeopathy, and it makes sense because you're talking about homeopathic remedies being, energy and vibration and frequencies, and then this whole body vibration could accelerate that. Right.
Yes, it does. It sends, when we are whole body vibration is a plate that is mechanically moving. It's a different kind of vibration than electromagnetic energy. It's actually physically moving up and down very fast.
Right.
But when a person stands on one of these plates, because we are like crystals, liquid crystals, in that we have a highly organized molecular structure, we have the same properties as crystals, and one of those is something called piezoelectricity, which is, any physicist and engineer can tell you, it's the ability of crystals to turn mechanical vibration into electromagnetic energy. So you stand on that plate, that vibrating plate, and you instantly turn it into the electromagnetic energy that you need to heal frequencies, because we're all different, but you turn it into the frequency you need it for all your different body parts and your energy meridians and getting your chakras spinning. So it becomes this incredibly powerful energy treatment for everybody who uses it, and people and dogs and everything. They use it. They're using it with horses and animals and dogs, racehorses. I used it with my dog.
I was looking on your site and talking about evidence. There's a ton of research that's been going on with whole body vibration as well, right?
Right, that's right. Over 1,000 studies, because whole body vibration is not just energy treatment, which is very cutting edge, but it was developed about 40 years ago in Russia for their Olympic athletes and their cosmonauts, because it has such a powerful effect on your muscular skeletal system. It's 10 minutes on a powerful machine. I know this is hard to believe, but 10 minutes gives you the benefits of an hour of conventional weight training in terms of building muscle strength, flexibility, balance, coordination, bone density, and losing weight. I mean, who's not going to love this?
Well, did you say 40 years ago?
The 1970s. When I don't know if you remember, but in the 1970s, suddenly the Russians were winning all kinds of gold medals in the Olympics, and it's because they had developed whole body vibration, which athletes around the world now are all using. You can't be a competitive athlete without using whole body vibration. All the big sports teams are using it. The Olympic athletes, the colleges, everybody uses whole body vibration now.
Is this how is it looked at in the mainstream? Is it still kind of just in the underground and all these people are using it but not really talking about it, or is it accepted
mainstream now? Still, a lot of people don't really know what it is in plenty of parts of the country.
Right.
But it is in a lot of gyms now, and worldwide it is booming. It's very popular in Europe and Asia. And it's exploding at the moment worldwide and in the US and Canada. Because, for example, on Amazon, maybe 5 years ago, there were only a few machines, whole body vibration machines being sold. Now there's 50 to 100 different machines.
Wow.
Walmart has them. All all kinds of stores the retail stores have them. And they're in gyms. So it's becoming much more mainstream.
So Can you talk about the type of, like, there's got to be some that are coming out that are just a shits or something like that, and then some that are pretty good. But where would you go besides the gym to do it in your local city if you don't have one? Or is there anywhere to go, or do you have to buy one personally? And then if you do have to buy one personally, how is there different types? Like, I read something in your book about a double machine compared to a single machine, and that wasn't really good.
Well, the good news is the big expensive machines are not the ones I recommend. They are not the best machines for you. You do not have to spend an outrageous amount of money. And yes, it is confusing because when you go online to look at this, you could spend anywhere from $200 to $6,000 on a vibration machine.
Yeah.
But like I said, the big expensive ones are not the ones I would recommend, because you do not want to have, to make them big and powerful, they put 2 motors in them. 2 motors can never be perfectly synchronized, and that means that you end up the machines send a desynchronizing message into your brain and your nervous system, which is very bad long term. And I know this because that's the first type of machine I actually ended up using about 15 years ago, and eventually I got really sick from it because I'm very sensitive. So kind of showed up in me, and I could figure it. Anyway, I'm a good test case and canary you can all learn from. But you can go to my website. There's a lot of information about which is the best type of vibration. Mm-hmm. I recommend single motor vertical vibration as the most synchronizing for your brain and best for your general overall health. There are different types of vibration, but I want to stress that it's best actually to start with just a gentle vibration, because it is a very powerful effect on your body. And if you're not like already an athlete, it can be stressful for your body, and that can actually, if you do too much too soon, you can feel worse instead of better. So you want to start with just a little bit and gradually increase, and then you get benefits to your body, mind, and soul that are really powerful and help everything, all kinds of things heal. A lot of systemic healing effects. Like, for example, it raises human growth hormone. That helps everything heal. That's your major regeneration hormone and rejuvenation hormone. It increases circulation, bringing nutrients to all your cells. It increases bone density and helps you lose weight. It increases your metabolism, muscle strength, raises serotonin levels in your brain almost immediately, which is a big antidepressant effect. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
A lot of new research, the recent research is that nothing is better for your brain, your nervous system health than exercise. And vibration is exercise on steroids. So
if you're an athlete already, how much could you handle double somebody that isn't very active can handle, do you think? Or could you step into it?
Could be something like 100 times more.
Oh, so really, so it does, yeah. So it's really hard to tell. You got to figure it out yourself, kind of.
Yeah,
right?
I recommend starting with just a little bit, and also check the contraindications. There's a list of that in my book and on my website. Okay. Because certain conditions, you don't want to do vibration at all, like migraines, epilepsy, vertigo, kidney stones, gallstones, acute herniated discs. Some things can get much worse really quickly.
Migraines, eh?
Yeah, I mean, and some of these things, if you are careful and you start slow, they actually can get better, but you have to know what you're doing. So you want to do it with somebody who knows about vibration.
So where else could you get it done besides the gym or
health spas sometimes have this. Beauty places might have it. Beauty salons. Okay. But the machines are actually really, like, I have a new machine that's right now there's a pre-order price of $299. It'll be up to $499 in another couple of weeks. It is unbelievably therapeutic and very gentle. So it's easy to use, but and not stressful but just like the best type of vibration for your brain and your energy and your internal organs. So it'll make you really feel a lot better. Another thing I didn't mention, lowers pain and inflammation almost immediately. because it's working like acupuncture. It's energy medicine.
Yeah,
and that's something energy medicine can do.
Yeah. Gets things flowing. Huh.
It's awesome stuff.
So it looks like the CDC itself in 1999 put it that prescription drugs are 3 times.
In 1999?
Yeah.
CDC.
That was the latest CDC. Ralph Nader, I found some Ralph Nader quotes that had it at about 38,000 to 5,000, but I can't really back those up. But the CDC put it at 3 times as many overdoses by prescription drugs to non-prescription drugs, and that's in 1999.
Wow.
I can only say with the rate at which opioids are being prescribed, it's only gone up.
Well, this is the crazy thing about, the argument that natural health is dangerous. My gosh.
Yeah,
you couldn't get more dangerous than Western health.
Yeah, exactly.
Western medicine. I mean, maybe one person has died from natural medicine methods in 50 years. It's nothing like Western drugs.
So, Becky, what about some? So, in your experience in helping others heal as well, and in homeopathy, what about other types of things that people have, like conditions or syndromes? Like, have you ever had anybody, or have you ever heard of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome?
No.
By any chance? It's an inherent disorder that affects your connective tissues, primarily your skin, joints, and blood vessel walls. So would people that have these type of things that aren't it's not necessarily like a disease, it's more of like something you're born with. Is there hope for them in this type of healing?
Usually most things can at least be helped.
Right.
Because the expression of a genetic tendency can be altered by the environment. So you put somebody has a genetic tendency towards something, and you put them in a very stressful environment that's not health promoting, they could end up much sicker than if you are giving them good food and good vibration and homeopathy and all these other things. You can change the expression of illnesses a great deal.
That's a really good point, actually, because a lot of these things I find are cyclical, and they flare up for some reason or another. And for the people that have these ongoing lifelong sort of challenges and conditions, it's hard to know what's causing these flare ups, right? And they think that it's something's causing it, so they try and change this and that, and or they don't, or they just give up trying to figure out what's causing it, and they just accept that every now and again they flare up, or all too often they flare up. So that's a good point, that if you can change that expression, you might be able to calm those down or increase the gaps between them.
Yeah, you can very often. A lot of things that Western medicine doesn't think can be changed or helped can be, has been my experience.
I wonder if we'll ever take the money out of it. It's tough. It almost seems like something.
It's got to crash first.
It's got to crash first.
It's got too much momentum. I guess, unless it could be just honestly just biting themselves in the ass too, and like Becky was saying, more and more people are catching on here. Maybe that's just how it's going to be, is people are just going to stop participating in that system and go the more natural way, right? It's happening.
Yeah,
it seems like it's happening with diet and sugar and all this stuff now.
It's hard to have even a grassroots change, though, because most of these people can't afford to buy their own medicine. So unless the insurance companies are going to start covering it, then a lot of people are still just going to be hooked to whatever the drug company or the insurance company is willing to pay for.
Yeah, well, there's hope for that. The Swiss government at this point has mandated that homeopathy is given as much respect. It's treated like Western medicine. It is insured. It's available. It's respected in Switzerland and India to the same level that Western medicine is. And there's no reason we can't do that also.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why we can't do that.
Yeah.
We need a little change of attitude, perhaps. But it can happen.
Attitude adjustment.
Yeah.
Attitude adjustment. That's what we need.
So tell us a little bit more about the combination of these two therapies that you found and that you've found with some of your patients.
Yeah. Well, for example, there's one woman that I tell her story in the book. Her name is Betty Lou. And when she first comes to me, we only did the whole body vibration. And she did get better, but she wasn't really very good at doing anything else. Like, she didn't want to change her diet. She was very stubborn about that. So she couldn't tolerate very much vibration because she needed to change her diet. And without changing her diet, the whole thing was too stressful for her body. So we did like 15 seconds a day, 3 times a week for several months. But she was getting better. Her headaches were getting better, and she was losing weight, and she was she had like a bunch of digestive problems and not migraines, but headaches and allergies, and she wanted to lose weight, and all of that was starting to happen. And energy, she got a great deal more energy. So, and eventually she started to agree with me that maybe it would be helpful to change her diet. So anyway, she got a lot better. Then she went away for a couple of years, and her parents died. When she came back 2 years later, she had gained the weight back, and she was like, now there was a lot of grief because of her parents dying and other accumulated sort of emotional issues from her life that were affecting her more. So we tried vibration, but vibration alone wasn't able to turn the situation around this time. Nothing was really changing this time. So I added in the homeopathy, and that made a huge difference. And we were able to go through different layers, sort of on a monthly basis. We would be giving her new homeopathic remedies, which would, all kinds of things were changed. She really grew as a person. Both her physical body changed, her physical ailments were going away again. But the wonderful thing about homeopathy is because it's also dealing with your fears and your sort of behaviors that aren't helping you, that are more like defensive methods of not dealing with fears and negative feelings. All of that began to change. So it's a great story.
Interesting. So yeah, we'll have to try that out, Darren. I found a place in Calgary here that does it.
Did you?
So, yeah. I think there's cool. And there's a whole bunch on Kijiji, so.
On Kijiji?
Yeah.
I don't think, as long as I have a registered number, I guess, right? Do naturopaths have that? Like, I know if I go to masseuse, they have to have that number.
Oh,
yeah,
you're talking
license, yeah.
Depends on where you are, actually. Like where I am in the state of Massachusetts, they don't license naturopaths, but California does, and I don't have any idea what they do up in Canada, but maybe you need licenses.
Our insurance covers like $500.
If it's covered,
then
there must be some sort of.
Right on. We'll have to check it out. Yeah, it's exciting. I'm going to check out both the homeopathy and the vibration.
What I love is that it really helps you achieve your potential. You know, we have enormous potential, I've found, but it's often hard for us to reach, really express our potential, because we're sort of stuck in negative states from trauma that happened to us in our lives. And it's hard to let go of that baggage. You can just struggle forever trying to let go of stuff, and you keep taking it with you wherever you go.
Yeah. Yeah, this kind of kickstarts it. So what do you got coming up in the future at all? Are you doing any... I'm
so glad you asked. Yeah, because I'm going to do a tour of the U.S. next year.
Wow.
Yeah, starting in January, I'm going to be driving around the country. And maybe the year after that, I'll come up to Canada.
Wow, that's great. So what are you going to be doing? Like,
I'll be teaching a lot of classes at different natural health schools, naturopathic schools, and helping people, practitioners set up to use vibration in their practices and doing book signings and readings, and just going to have a blast. And I'm going to see the country at the same time and get to meet a whole ton of people.
Wow, that sounds great.
Doesn't that sound awesome?
Yeah, you're going to have to keep in touch with us, and when you come up here, we'll come and come and check it out.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Where are you guys?
We're in Calgary, so we're like an hour east of the Rockies, really.
Oh, okay.
So when are you starting the tour? This summer?
That will be January 2017.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
2017, right when they legalized the weed.
So is there anything else you want to mention before we start wrapping it up here?
Can't think of anything offhand.
Yeah, I think we've covered all. It's been great chatting about all this stuff and learning about these modalities. Hopefully people find some interesting stuff in that. And of course, I'll link to your website in the show notes, and people can check it out from there.
Terrific. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. Thanks for the great book too. I read the whole thing. I found it very interesting.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
There you go. Did it work on? Oh, I guess Maria's just coming.
Yeah.
Are you going to get her to try?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Well, let me know where you go.
Some of the some of the naturopaths that I was looking at have long waits, so it's pretty tough to get in there.
I do also do phone consults around the world. Phone and Skype.
Nice.
All over the world. Yeah.
So you would help recommend some type of what's the word again I'm looking for?
Well, I do homeopathic consults.
Yeah. And then they can go to where they need to and buy it, sort of thing?
No, I can just I get it drop shipped.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's good to know, too. Huh. Maybe I'll take you up on that.
That would be great.
Okay, good. Thanks, Becky.
Thanks a lot for coming on the show. Yeah, and we'll have to have you back down the road and see how things are going.
Terrific. Thank you, guys. You're doing a great thing.
Okay.
Spreading all this information.
Yeah, thanks. You too, Becky.
All right.
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye.
And that was our chat with Becky. Hopefully, I was able to fix the audio hiccups. I'm pretty confident that I was, though, so you probably didn't even notice.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. What'd you think?
Spamgram.
What'd you think? Did you learn something there?
Yeah. I like how I actually was pretty refreshed by how open she was to talk about the good things of Western medicine, because a lot of people you talk to, it's it can be a lot more polarized.
Yeah, she said it at the beginning. I think you missed it actually, but she did mention that. Oh, there's lots of good things about that too, and then you came barreling in there with your
boom. That's what I do.
I think there's two separate factions, really. Like when we talk about Western medicine,
more than two factions.
No, but it covers there is the whole physical emergency care and all that, and then there's the whole big pharma prescription industry, which is separate, right? But it's hard not to include it all together because then there's insurance companies wrapped in there, and all that stuff. But it really is like I have a friend of mine that had something inserted in her back because she had constant pain. It was crazy. She went down to the States, paid $80,000 or something like that for this operation where they put this plate, this metal strip down her plate. She's got a button under her skin or something sort of, and she can change where it goes, and it's gotten rid of her pain. It's basically inserted some kind of thing into her spine and taps into the nerves and gets rid of her pain.
Really?
Crazy. And they refunded, when they did their accounting at the end of the thing, I think it was over $100,000. And they did their accounting at the end of the thing, and they gave her they shipped $40,000 back or something like that. Because they had said, here, we need to budget for this much because it's a super rare operation. But she's been in pain for so long that nothing worked. And then she has this thing inserted.
Was it covered?
No. Fuck no. Are you kidding? Ouch. No way. They can't even cover some little bits.
The non-generic Tylenol 3s.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, interesting. So what I was getting at was that there's the real positive aspect of the technology advancement and all this freaking transhumanism stuff going on in some ways. And then there's the big pharma,
fucking it all up.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
So I'm going to look on Kijiji and grab one of these guys. I'll have to. I'll probably email
Why don't
her
you
and
just
ask-
go to like a real place?
What? Like, what do you mean?
I don't know. For people that don't know what Kijiji is, it's basically
I
like
see
a
what you mean.
Craigslist
Sorry,
or
yeah.
a
It's
something like that.
Like
It's basically like the classifieds, online classified ads.
Right.
So my suggestion would be the Yellow Pages or maybe Google. Even find a company that has an actual website and not just an ad on Kijiji.
Well, and go to hers because she'll ship you them
Yeah,
too. She'll
I could
sell
put
them
an ad
too.
on Kijiji that says whatever I want.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to keep my eyes open for these in the city.
I guess I could make a website too, but that'd be more trouble.
What are you talking about?
That
For an
said,
ad?
that said I was whatever I wanted.
Oh, jeez.
It'd be a lot more trouble to go through to get you over to my house.
Yeah,
Tie
maybe
up
you
in
should
my
just get
basement.
ours working properly
Put
first,
some
and
lotion
then worry
on
about
its
some
skin.
fake website.
I don't control the website. It works. Maybe that player, maybe I should just take that down.
Maybe. No, I mean, I don't know. We were just trying to get onto it today, and we were both having problems connecting, so.
The Igloo. Maybe the fucking...
It's not the internet.
Maybe
Every other website I'm surfing is fine.
Maybe the internet check bounce.
All
I think
right,
that's about it. Check
yeah.
out grimerica.ca/upgrade if that's still going on. It should be. It might not be, but it might be. Check it out. If not, go to grimerica.ca/support and sign up for a monthly and spam Graham.
GRAHAM.com. No. At Grimerica.com.
GRAHAM.com. I
Yeah.
guarantee you we do not have any chance of getting that URL.
All righty.
Where's my...
Oh, you trying to play a jingle?
Thanks for listening, guys. See you next week.
Never mastered the Derwenian bastard, but I've come as close as hell. Played the games, but they're all just the same. They only differ on their cell. Then it hit me hard. I didn't see it coming. Not our youth, it was the placebo of dreams. But now it's all worn off. My gut has started aching, and I can't use my old remedies. So please don't leave me alone with all these people I don't know. They feed on the characters I laughed so long ago. And please don't leave me alone. I'm not as good on my own. All the friends who became born agains, well, they were conscious like all the rest. So at 23 I should be used to my feet, but I'm still taking baby steps. Then it hit me hard. I didn't see it coming. Yeah, if rationale and logic still are free, why will so many men gladly throw all of their earnings down into wishing wells? come home.
Synchronicity, it's time for another installment of the Canadian Third Party Synchronicity Rating Authority.